All right, is my broadcasting not working? All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm your host for today's broadcast, Insane Leader 13, and we are about to get underway for the first round of qualifying here at Azerbaijan. This is the track known as Baku, known for its very, very tight corners and extremely long straightaways. All right. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, for the first time in several weeks, we're actually going to have 16 drivers. So with 16 drivers, that means there will be all of them going for 15 spots. I believe for a lot of the people here, they're going to be anticipating an accident sometime throughout the first round of qualifying. With that in mind, you will be looking at a scenario where if there's an accident early on in the session or some driver chooses willingly not to advance, everyone will just go ahead and have to turn one lap in advance into the next round of qualifying. Right now, the first man who is out on track is this man here, Galminator 2361 in the Alpine, as he is navigating his way through the top of Sector 2 right now. This here is the highest speed corners on the racetrack. You actually need to have a proper amount of downforce here, and one of the other things that make it very difficult is because of the way that the track kind of drops off going into this corner, it makes it very hard to properly line up the braking and turning zones for these corners. However, you get through here under proper, nice conditions, you're going to set yourself up well for a nice blistering run down the main straightaway. Now, FIA Grade 1 tracks do have a limitation as to what the length of the straightaways are supposed to be. That limitation was put in place during the late 1980s. It's one of the main reasons why Le Mans now has two chicanes on the long Mulsanne straight instead of just being, flat out going 270 miles an hour going into the Mulsanne corner. Here, though, at this track, we got around it a little bit because the bends that are on the start of this straightaway are officially listed as corners. Due to that, this circuit straightaway is artificially lengthened, and we get to see some incredibly high top speed here. The other thing about Azerbaijan, also known as Baku, is that due to the nature of this track being a lot of long straightaways and tight street corner circuits, you're going to have a scenario where normal street circuits, you want to pile on the downforce. You want as much downforce as possible to really get a good grip. On the other hand, though, because you have so many straightaways, if you have too much downforce, you're going to be excessively slow there, and you're going to lose a lot of time. There ends up being a lot of struggle trying to balance stuff out. One driver who, word on the street, is that you can take a look at this man here in the McLaren, Herbago. Supposedly, the McLaren team, they're going to go ahead and take a massive swing at things. He is going to be running a 4 and 4 on his front and rear wings. So he is going with almost no aerodynamic grip or downforce whatsoever. He is going for pure straight line speed. Right here at the top of Sector 2, this is where that setup could potentially harm him the most. However, that also means he is going to be absolutely blistering down the main straightaway. So what we're going to do is, as he's going to come around here, he's also towing his teammate Mantic Meerkat behind. We are going to ride on board with his teammate Mantic Meerkat, and from the position of the McLaren, we are going to see what a full lap is like here in qualifying around Azerbaijan. so I was wrong. Mantic Meerkat, that was not the start of his lap. That was the end of a flyer. And look at that toe between the really low downforce setup and the toe from his teammate Mantic Meerkat was at 218 miles an hour at the end of the front straightaway. That is absolutely incredible. Now we are going to go ahead and try around board with an actual driver for an entire flying lap here. Boothie is just starting his lap, and we will get to that eventually. On the timing sheets right now, though, Collie Boy is at the top in that Alfa Romeo with a 141.850. Mantic Meerkat is second with that 42.5. Schumacher SF7 is third with a 42.941. Golminator is fourth with a 43.743. Fratters is fifth with a 45.084. We are expecting a little bit better from him going forward. Boothie is in the middle of a lap. Dave is in the middle of a lap as well, just behind him. Plastic Love is getting ready to start his lap. Zach F1 in the Haas is in the middle of the lap right now. As you can see him, and Meerkat's crashed out! And Meerkat has had an accident on the circuit, and that is there in the castle section. Meerkat has had an accident in the castle section, and this could have a significant knock-on effect for a lot of drivers and potentially even the rest of qualifying. Zach F1 has had an issue. Oh, and that McLaren is trapped against that outside wall. But Meerkat, who put down that incredible time at the line, ended up being crashed out. He will not advance to the next round of qualifying. We're going to try and invite Meerkat into the party here and hear what he has to say, what took him out in that incident. As a Haas of Zach F1 who has just missed the corner. So the Haas team is significantly struggling with their driver today. 157, that is 12 seconds off the next slowest time, so we know he should be able to get a proper flyer lap in, but it's just not working out right now. And coming to the party right now is Mantic Meerkat. Meerkat, go ahead, include your audio. I was riding on board with you at the end of your lap, 218 miles an hour at the line, but an accident in castle section means that you will not advance to the next round qualifying. What happened? Alright, so with this accident, it looks like you're going to be starting last or next to last. So the question is, Baku, it's just like Monaco last week, it's a race of survival. Do you think you have a car that you can be capable in and make it survive to the end of the race today? Alright, well, here's hoping that works out for you, mate, because right now, just another driver has just been knocked out. It's looking like even in the first round, the calmest round qualifying, things have gotten really problematic out there. Hopefully the race works out for you, mate. Alright, that is the word from Mantic Meerkat. We're going to go ahead and try to reach out to Zach F1, hear what Zach has to say that took him out there in that high-speed bend on the front straightaway. 8 of our drivers still have times that will get them advanced, but we have had 10 drivers set their lap times. Here's XRL Flavor. He is now beginning his lap. This is Constant Jet. We're going to go ahead and ride on board with him unless Zach F1 joins the party. 211 miles an hour at the end of the straightaway for Constant Jet. He sets the 7th fastest time thus far with a 1:44.928. 10 of our drivers right now have set times that should advance them. The fight is just going to be to get a lap in. At the moment, you just need to get a lap in. You will advance into the next round. XRL Dave and XRL Snake both in the middle of laps right now. Snake, a veteran of X3. This is also XRL Zola in the middle of the lap. He is one of your 2 championship fighters. Lost some ground to Schumacher last week at Monaco. He's going to be trying desperately to make some ground up today. There's been an incident in Sector 2. That is the machine of plastic love in the Williams. He has had an accident in that Williams machine. His fastest time, 1:43.786, but now at the damaged front wing for him, he just needs to bring that car into pit lane. He'll be fine. You don't have to worry about tearing the stuff up. You are guaranteed into the next round. Only 15 drivers will advance, and with Meerkat and Zaxef, one's crashes, you're good. XRL Dave coming out of the final true quarter and now blistering down the main straightaway trying to get a lap in. Ooh, touches the outside wall just a bit there. That's going to scrub off a bit of time. But here comes Dave to the line. He pops up in the DRS lane hard on the ERS. As he crosses the line, it will be a 1:43.109 that put him up to 4th. 3 drivers left to set their times. Here comes Zola, one of your 2 main title rivals. Down the straightaway, Zola pops up in the DRS, lays on the ERS, and he's going to cross the line at 211 miles an hour. He could go for another lap if he so chooses, but that 1:43.5 will definitely be good enough for him for now. So this is Herbago. His teammate Meerkat had a crash, but he set a time at the line, well, speed at the line of 218 miles an hour. What can Herbago do? He does not have any draft helping him out as they come to the line. Low on fuel, but I'm looking, he's already at 210, and they've not even passed the pit lane entrance yet. At the line, in the McLaren, 215! He goes up to the top, 141.311! So an absolutely incredible setup in Herbago's car. Mantic Meerkat with another great setup. The problem is Meerkat seems to struggle with his. Herbago goes to the top with his own build. Now the question for the McLaren is, will he have enough fuel to make it safely back to the line? There are only a few cars left on track right now, and most of them are on cooldown laps, very low on fuel, just trying to make it back to the line. This man here, XRL Dave, could be going for another lap, but he has let out significantly. He's not pushing very hard. He knows that he's safe. Everyone at this point in this circuit is safe. They will be advancing into Q2 as long as they don't total their cars. This is Egedy and the AlphaTauri machine. AlphaTauri really having some struggles last week. And is that an Alfa Romeo? It is. That is Boy, who has had an accident coming downhill at the end of Sector 2. So it has not been even on a slower cooldown lap. It really, really screws with you because at that slower lap, you think, oh, I can go ahead and I can brake at the same time or a little later. But the aerodynamics work a little bit differently at different speeds. It makes it a lot harder to properly anticipate what the proper braking lines are going to be into some of these corners. And that corner there coming downhill, from the top going down, we have seen so many accidents, so many stack-ups there in both race conditions and qualifying conditions. The good news for Boy, though, is that he will be safe. He can advance into the next round with the time he has. Everyone can just go ahead and retire in the pits, and they will be good to the end. So 2 different accidents here thus far in this session today. The first session of qualifying, 14 drivers are poised to advance, assuming that no one is out there and ends up wrecking themselves. Egedy out there for, I'm guessing, another flyer lap here. Trying to go a little bit faster. This AlphaTauri is the only car on track at the moment. At the end of Sector 1, he'll set a 38.59. He's down 1.9 seconds, so this is his cooldown lap. His last lap must have been his flyer, as evidenced by the fact that he moved up from 13th to 11th on the timesheets at 144.189. But this is a cooldown lap. He just needs to safely make it back around the circuit. And Baku, one of the most chaotic, one of the most frustrating circuits on the calendar. As we're seeing a lot of drivers in pit lane going ahead and retiring because they know, hey, we're guaranteed to make it to the next round. No need to push. Only Extreme F1, Golminator, And Fratters, oh, and Egedy may have just ended up disconnecting or getting retired from the session as well. Bit weird, but okay. And Fratters in the Haas is on an outlap, so Fratters seems to think that he can go faster. It's a bold strategy. It's not one that I'd want to use. This means that he's burning up another set of tires. That would also mean that he runs the risk, potentially, of damaging and crashing out his car. Yeah, Egedy has retired on the track. Kind of an interesting choice to do there, but he has retired on the track. Extreme F1 and Golminator still in pit lane, but they have not yet officially retired. So as we go around, I'm going to go ahead and try and invite Zach F1 to the party one more time. I'm really curious to see what happened to him that took him out there in the high-speed sector of this track. Fratters, when he gets to the line, he's going to have enough time for one blistering flying lap, and that will be it. Now into the true straight part. DRS pops open, he's laying on the ERS, and at the line, he begins his time, his top speed, 210 miles an hour. So the Haas is running a lot more downforce than what we've been seeing out of the McLarens thus far. Onto the next DRS straight. By DRS, that means that the rear wing flaps open. On the little track map there on the right-hand side, those sections of the track that are highlighted in that faint green, that is a zone where the DRS pops open. In qualifying, you can always go ahead and hit the button to flow open the rear wing. When you do that, there's less drag on the rear wing and lets it go faster in a straight line. But those DRS automatically shuts once you get down below a certain speed, and also automatically shuts once you're out of the DRS zone, because you want to have that rear wing shut for maximum rear downforce navigating the corners. In racing conditions, the DRS only pops open whenever you're on a straight line, because these cars are not very good at properly following one or another. Fratters really slow through the castle section. I don't think he touched the wall there, but you can see that whatever happened there, it looked like he broke extremely late, basically dove his way into the braking zone, and then had to really swerve hard to avoid actually hitting the wall there at the top. And now this has been one of the problem corners, but Fratters gets around without too much issue. The time's up officially in the session, so when Fratters crosses the line, we will be moving right away into the second round of qualifying here. Looking a little bit smoother down the main straight this time as he comes out of the final bend. 200 miles an hour right now. He's going to try and pump it up a bit, laying on the ERS, DRS open at the line. 210 miles an hour for Fratters. And he moves up to 13th overall on the timesheet. So good job on the Haas driver for improving. It was a big risk with not a lot of reward, but he did improve. And these are the 14 drivers that will advance to the next round. Herbaga with that monster lap of 141.311. Collie Boy in the Alfa Romeo with a 41.850. Extreme F1 in the AlphaTauri. XRL Steak in the Mercedes AMG. XRL Schumacher in the Ferrari. XRL Dave in the Alfa Romeo. Zola in the Red Bull. Golminator in the Alpine. Plastic Love in the Williams. XRL Flavor in the other Ferrari. Egedy in the other AlphaTauri. Constant Jet in the other Red Bull. Fratters in the Haas. And Boothing in the Alpine. As Mantic Meerkat and Zach F1 both have accents that will keep them from advancing into the second round of qualifying here at Azerbaijan. Alright, so now we're prepared to load into the second round of qualifying. I do not know why my... There we are. There's my HUD. Alright, 14 drivers will be fighting for the top 10 spots. The top 10 drivers in time will advance into the final round of qualifying, which will be the pole shootout. The question right now, who's going to be the first man to get out onto the race circuit? It looks like we have our answer. This is Gallminator in the Alpine. He is being joined by the AlphaTauri. I believe that would be Extreme F1, yes. So Gallminator and Extreme F1's the first two out, and look at this, some teammate shenanigans going on in the Alfa Romeo camp. Collie Boy and XRL Dave coming out onto the circuit. Now this is Herbago. He's coming out as well in the McLaren. He doesn't have a teammate to help him, give him a draft down the straights. But this also means he does not have to sacrifice an extra lap on soft tires going hard. There are a little bit of positives and a little bit of negatives to everything here. Again, of note, over the course of a normal race weekend, you are giving 4 soft tire compounds. If you can advance to Q3, you are giving 1 extra set of soft tire compounds that you are allowed to utilize in the final round of qualifying. Right now, if I'm in anyone's position here in Q2, I'm going to go ahead, wait just a little bit, not a long time, but just a little bit, to go out on track, set a lap once the circuit's rubbered in a bit, put my lap down, see what the time is going to look like, and then decide if I want to use up another set of tires to try and advance to the next round or not. Because if we see another bunch of drivers having accidents, it may just be a matter that, hey, you set a competent lap, you're in. You want to save the soft tires, because if we end up with a late race yellow in the main race itself, you want to have one of those sets of softs available and ready to go to utilize. But right now, everyone with the exception of Plastic Love is out on the racing circuit. This is going to get very interesting. I have to wonder if maybe someone has told a driver somewhere that there is a risk of rainfall. Gallminator in a great position, able to lay on the power and fly away from the rest of the field as he's coming to the line to begin his flying lap. Watch this fight. Watch this here. Flavor right behind his teammate Schumacher. Flavor's not been known for a great qualifying prowess in the last few games, but this season this has changed around significantly. Flavor has credited that to the fact that he has just, he's been around long enough, he's finally gained it, but also that he feels more accepted and more welcome in the Ferrari team than any other team he's been with before. Him and Schumacher spend a lot of time working together to try and make things work out, and right now we're seeing the Ferrari drivers trying to help each other out as the number 1 driver is going to be leading the tow for the number 2 on this lap. So everyone, with the exception of Eggity and Constant Jet, in the middle of the laps, and as I say that, those two are coming across the line now. Boothie has had an accident! And Boothie has had an accident there coming out of the 3rd corner, and that's in the middle of everyone's flying lap. You're going to have to be very careful through here. Oh, wow, that's just right on the edge of the racing line, and Boothie knocked out and qualified before he even gets a lap in, and this is going to have some massive knock-on effects, I believe. A lot of drivers are likely going to see their laps compromised a bit. Oh no, and Schumacher has had a spin! Schumacher, your championship points leader, has had an accident in the middle of his flyer. The good news is he can go ahead, he can step back, he can roll it down, but hit for his teammate Flavor. That was extremely close, came very close to being a sandwich between himself and his teammate. But he's able to continue going without damage. Meanwhile, at the front, here comes Gallminator to the line. Coming into the party right now is Boothie. Boothie, go ahead and include your audio. Accident coming out of turn 3. What happened? Alright, well, it looks like you're going to be relegated to start near the rear of the grid. But Azerbaijan, historically, is a circuit where survival is the name of the game. Do you feel confident enough in your car that you can survive? Alright. Alright, so I hear you, Boothie, but I want you to hear me out for a second, okay? So, do you know who Nelson Piquet is? So did you know that in 1987, Nelson Piquet had a massive accident at Imola that left him half blind? So, with that in mind, I want you to realize that while Nelson Piquet had that massive accident that left him half blind, he still continued to contend for championships and win races further into his career. Boothie, I have seen you out here on track for a long period of time. I'm going to be 100% honest with you, Boothie. If you believe the right thing to do is to hang out in the back and survive is the best way to go for it, then I believe that you can make that work. But you need to have confidence in yourself, Boothie, just like the legendary multi-time champions from Brazil of old. And I want you to go out there and pull a Nelson Piquet and bring home not just a finish, but a finish that you can be proud of in that Alpine. I believe in you, mate, and you need to believe in the me that believes in you out there. You got it? Alright, thanks for being willing to jump in and talk with us, mate, and I look forward to potentially talking to you after the race is over. Alright, well, that's the word from Boothie116. Herbago at the top of the timesheets right now, but he had an accident on his cooldown lap. But interesting enough, again, that McLaren seems to be nearly unstoppable. 141.027 keeps him a full 3/10 ahead of everyone else. Right now, 11 of our 14 drivers have set time. Plastic Glove and Schumacher both had incidents that caused them to abort their laps, so they're not going for extra laps. But at the moment, everyone else who is on track, well, they're all coming back into the pits. They're saying, hey, look, we're happy. We set our lap. We're going to go ahead and come in and just wait and see what the thing is. But again, really interesting scenario as we saw 13 of our 14 drivers all rush out onto the track at pretty much the exact same time. Now, of note, Plastic Glove's Xbox disconnected, and Plastic ended up with a little bit of a headache because of that. He wasn't able to get out on track with anyone else, so he couldn't get a draft from everyone else. This could still, however, work out in his favor depending on how things go, because if Plastic Glove is in a good enough position when he finally does get out on the track will be relatively clean. Also, Schumacher SF7 already coming back out onto the circuit after his spin on his initial flying lap, so we're going to go ahead and watch Schumacher, your current championship leader. No stress, no pressure this time around, and we're going to see what he can do in the Ferrari. Completely clean track. This one is just a setup lap. He's preparing to get out there. And here's Plastic Glove. He is also preparing to get out onto the circuit. Collie Boy has gone ahead and retired in the pit lane. So two drivers out on track setting up for flyer laps. Herbago going ahead and retiring in the pits. Gulminator retiring in the pits as well. So Gulminator seems to think that 43.7, or did he crash? No, Gulminator's had a crash, actually. So I must have missed this completely, but Gulminator has had some sort of crash out there. And I think, no guarantee, but I think I might be seeing rain beginning to fall. And if this is true, if I'm seeing rain beginning to fall on the track, this could end up being very problematic for both Plastic Glove and Schumacher, and this could see them getting knocked out early on in qualifying here. I think it is. Yes, it is starting to rain. It's starting to rain out there on the racetrack. All right, coming in the party right now is Gulminator. Gulminator, go ahead and include your audio as we are right on board Schumacher as the rain is beginning to pick up. Gulminator, it seems like he set a respectable lap and then crashed out afterwards. What happened? Alright, so it looks like you're going to be starting in the 10th position because DRS has just been disenabled due to the rain. So it looks like you're locking in a 10th about the midfield. Do you think you have a car that you can be confident in that will survive to the end of this race here? Alright, well, it's a shame to see you knocked out in qualifying. Hopefully you'll be able to bounce back as both of the Alpine drivers struggling really hard here in Q2. Alright, Plastic Glove still navigating around the circuit. He's not had any instance yet. Schumacher has had a spin on his lap, so that spins on both of Schumacher's lap. For him, I think he's just trying to get a lap into the cards so that way he can be placed ahead of Boothie on the timesheets at the very least. Plastic Love running excessively slow, just being very ginger to try and not total the car. And Fratters going out there, he's 11th, and I hate to say it, looks like he's not going to be able to advance with no DRS. And DRS is so critical, so key to staying a lap here. And with no DRS, you're just not going to simply advance. And now the track is starting to wetten up. You're going to have to go to the intermediate tires, which are significantly slower. Everyone who is not in the top 9, you're basically screwed. There's no way to turn things around and improve, it would seem. Schumacher likely going to try and just nurse that machine. You can see he's only going at 125 miles an hour right now. And he's not even going to bother completing this lap. He's going to immediately bring it into the pits. Plastic Love has had an accident on the straightaway. Whoa! That was Snake in the Mercedes going by. But Plastic Love, it is not looking good for him whatsoever. And Schumacher retires in the pits after a pair of spins in the middle of his laps. Fratter is down 32 seconds just due to the rain, and he spins again. So yeah, they're running on hot, slick tires on a wet racetrack, and there's really just no winning in this kind of scenario. Fratter's trying to very gingerly bring that Haas back into the pits without totaling the car right now. Oh no, and he's into the wall hard! And somehow the front wheel stayed on it. Oh wow, this is looking bad! Is that it? He's out! Yes, Fratter is now crashed out as well. The track is just so wet that drivers, even under slow conditions, can't navigate with these slick tires. Alright, coming to the party right now with Schumacher SF7. Schumacher, our championship leader, you go out there, you had a spin on your initial lap, you got done the next lap, and the track was already gone. Yeah. What happened out there that caused that initial spin?
I had worn tyres on. I was going to tow Martin, and the incident happened in front of me before Boofy, and I backed off so I didn't crash into him, because if I went fast around that corner, I would have just gone inside of Boofy. And then crisscross with communications between me and my teammate. He kept pushing, I didn't. And then I went hungry on the throttle a bit too much. And the cold, because they cooled down so quickly, softs. Spun the car, so I brought the car home, and it just started raining. And yeah, it's how it is. But I've got the race ahead, so I can just make my way through and come back through the pack.
Alright, it looks like you're going to be starting 14th in a 16-car field, so do you have the confidence that your setup on that car will enable you to survive to the end of this race, and more importantly, put you in a position ahead of Zola so you can extend your championship lead?
The car's fine, the setup's fine. It's now just thinking, how many safety cars there's going to be? That's one question. What's hard to start on? That's another question. Do I gamble starting the softs? Do I gamble starting the hards? Or just go safe straight down the middle on the mediums? But again, if there's a safety, there's so many. Then do I underfuel? Do I don't underfuel? Do I leave some space at the start so everyone else can bin it into T1, T2, and T3? I'm going to speak to my race engineer and to see what he thinks.
Alright, well, good luck, mate. It's going to be a hard challenge for you, but we've seen the Ferrari team come back from similar challenges before. If anyone can do it, I think you're one of the guys who can. Alright, so right now, Plastic Love is the only car on the racetrack right now with no DRS. Right now, he is just trying to get this lap in so he can be moved up that one position. Instead of starting 13th, he'll start 12th ahead of Boofy, who has not yet set a time. But the thing is, for Plastic Love, he just needs to get this time in. The clock up there says less than 30 seconds left, so in this scenario, Plastic Love, he can go ahead and set a time that's up to 3 minutes. It doesn't matter as long as he just sets a time. But it's more imperative that he does not total the car. Coming in at turn number 3, this is the corner where Boofy had his accident. But for right now, Plastic Love being very conservative through these corners. He knows that he doesn't need to go for any flyer lap. The times of 145, that's just simply not available. Those times, 1st through 11th, those all had been set with DRS enabled and with soft tires on a dry racetrack, so you would have way more grip in the corners and way more speed in the straights. For Plastic, he just needs to get a lap time down. Doesn't matter if it's in the 2-minute section. We keep seeing him bang the tires flush on the outside wall. As long as it's not knocking the tires off of the suspension, the tow rods, basically, the tie rods, he will be fine. But if he hits at the wrong angle and starts bending or breaking that stuff, well, it's going to be very rough for him, if not instantly ending his day. He's playing a very, very dangerous hand, but for this one position, it may be enough for him. He's into the wall really hard there, and he's around, and he's into the wall again, and he's into the wall a third time, and he's into the wall a fourth time, and the front wing breaks. It doesn't matter. It's still a legal lap. He just needs to finish this lap. The car is still alive. Oh, and he hits the wall again, and that's the entire front wing gone. The entire front wing is gone. Plastic, I believe in you. You've got to keep the car straight and just be extremely slow coming out of these high-speed bends. Don't even try to go faster than 125 miles an hour. He doesn't care. He's already blitzing it. He doesn't care that he doesn't have front end grip. He's already at 150 miles an hour. There's no aero grip on the front. He doesn't care. He's trying to commit to it either way. Oh, that car is really not happy. You can see no front end grip is making it to where the nose of the car is not wanting to stay straight. He is all over the place. He's into the wall. He crushes the car. He's out of it. And Plastic, just less than 100 meters, probably less than 100 feet from the line, was not able to complete his lap.
Well, that's unfortunate for him. Bit of a shame, really. Could have made one
Wait, how'd you
grid
get to
spot.
the party already?
Who, me?
Yes, you.
You invited me about 10 minutes ago.
Oh. Oh, okay. Well, make sure your audio is included, I guess. Oh, it says you did include it, so your wreckage apparently crossed the line. No, wait. I'm stupid. Okay, never mind.
I did wonder how long it was going to take for you to realise I was in the commentary booth. How you doing, man? How's it going?
It's been frustrating out there. All right, so you had a big accident, Fratters. You were 11th. You tried going out there again, and while you didn't total the car, well, you did total the car, but it wasn't in your middle of your initial flyer. You're not going to advance into Q3. Survival is the name of the game for you. What are we looking at here?
I mean, yeah. When you know there's rain on the way, you just got to go for it. So, like, that's why everyone kind of absolutely sent it at the start. Did my lap. Boothy's car was in the way, which was lovely. Compromised at a corner. And then Schumacher, who you spoke to previously, as he spun, I was the only car that got compromised by him. So that cost my lap a bit as well. So could both of those be in the difference between me making Q3 and not? Probably not, because I'm terrible. But you know, we'll just boss over that. But just you've got to just give it your all. And I thought there was enough time for 2 laps. And the rain came before I could even do my second lap. So after that, it's just alright. Let's just have some fun. Let's just start, drifting everywhere. I had the armbands out, I needed my ore, but I couldn't find it. And that's what put me in the wall, really.
All right, so big thing is you're starting 11th, so this is kind of like midfield for you. Basically, I have the storm for the start of a race here at Baku, but the big question is, do you think you have a setup on this car that will enable you to survive to the end of this race? Because Baku races are typically just attrition in a matter of survival. Do you think you can survive to the end of the race?
I think the amount of times I've raced around Baku in X3, I have finished 1. So my record doesn't really go in my favour. So we will have to see. But the car seems to be okay. It's just me. So yeah, we'll just have to see how it goes. But like I say, shout out to Plastic, who could have been 12th with a 2.5 minute lap time, but spinned it in a straight line. So that was impressive.
Yeah, that accident seemed like it was forever in the making with no front wing. Whatever setup that car had, it just meant that the front tires simply weren't gripping the track. And with all that power going down the straightaway, it just really became problematic for him. Shame he came so close to the finishing lap. We're trying to get Plastic into the party to hear what he has to say. But, all right, Fratters, hopefully things work out well for you in the race, and we get to talk to you after the entire race is over and not just midway through the race.
Thank you very much. Oh, and before I go, Constant says hi.
All right, I say hi back to Constant. Good job on him going ahead and making it into Q3, as both Red Bulls will be starting the top 9 positions. So 9 cars in the middle of their... 9 cars making it to Q3. 7 of them are in the middle of their laps, and Constant Jet has in the middle of an outlap right now. The first driver who will be crossing the line, though, will be this man here, Collie Boy, in the Alfa Romeo. A bit of a slide coming out of that problematic corner there. Coming to the line. Collie Boy pops him the DRS, laying on the ERS. And 142.329 for Collie Boy at the top of the timesheets. And is that an accident? I believe Herbago or Eggity may have had an accident. One of these two drivers may have had an incident in the castle section. I don't see damage to any of their cars. But the AlphaTauri drivers and this McLaren having a bit of an issue. It's going to be a really bizarre start for McLaren. One driver pretty much locked into next to last. The other starting potentially near the front of the grid, considering that he's been the fastest driver in Q1 and Q2 here. So 4 drivers have set their times, and Herbago aborts his lap. So Herbago did not fuel up enough to complete that lap and then come in following. Eggity sets a time in the 2:14, so he must have been the driver who had an incident, but he's going for another fly here. Constant Jet in the middle of his own lap as well. Zola in the middle of an out lap. So 4 drivers have set proper times thus far. Collie Boy is at the top with a 42.329. Extreme F1 has a 142.471. XRL Flavor running a 42.854. XRL Dave 143.058. Really does not seem to be very happy with that Alfa Romeo. He seems to be dealing with a lot of twitch and oversteer coming out of these corners. But he's kept it together thus far and kept it out of the wall. Very close to the wall there. He's going to probably try and improve. I could see him trying to improve this lap. He's only 3/10 down, and with the car being theoretically lighter, he should be coming out of that final corner with a bit more speed, and with proper lines, he should be able to carry more speed through these corners and be a little bit faster at the line. It won't be a massive improvement, but he'll take it. Constant Jet sets a time 144.366. Eggity in the middle of another lap trying to improve, and Dave is aborting this lap. Eggity up by 9/10 in Sector 1 alone, so this should be a great improvement for him. And that is his teammate Extreme F1, who's had some sort of issue just ahead of him. Oh, this could work out interesting because Eggity is going to get a tow off of Extreme F1 here. So this could see the AlphaTauri hit its highest maximum potential straight line speed as they come into turn 1. At the end of the lap, Eggity is popping up the DRS. He's laying on the DRS. His teammate ducks into the pits. And at the line, Eggity is going to set time 143.892. That's good enough for 5th. Zola all by himself on the racetrack, coming to the line. This is good, looking great for his championship hopes. He sets a 142.643 here. That's good enough for 3rd. Herbago and Snake both on outlaps. Snake has been relatively quiet and consistently making it out of Q1. He's made it out of Q2. Now he is in Q3 and trying to push his way forward. Eggity has an instant almost right afterwards on his cooldown lap. But again, he set his lap. That's the important thing. Herbago is going to be very interesting to watch. He was setting up for a blistering lap here early on, but aborted because he just didn't have enough fuel. Now he does have enough fuel for a flyer lap. What is this going to look like for him? He was easily on top by 0.3 in Q1 and Q2. .216 miles an hour at the end of the straight. Now, due to the rain that we had in Q2, a little bit of the grip in the corners have been washed away, so that's going to make it a lot harder to properly get perfect execution of throttle application coming out of the corners. That's going to be where we're going to see a little bit of speed taken away. And it's really going to hurt these cars, this car of McLaren, McLaren of Herbago, because he is going to have a little bit less grip. The aerodynamics need to do a lot more, but if the information we've been given is right, they're running very, very low wing setup in the McLarens. There's not a lot of aerodynamics to even work on that extra grip. They're going to be burning up the tires more, trying to make mechanical grip do all the extra work. If Herbago can get another blistering flying lap, it will be great, but this washed off sort of green racetrack is going to make it very, very difficult for him here. Coming up to the top of the hill. Again, we're expecting Herbago to have the fastest straight line speed. The McLarens have been 5 to 6 miles an hour faster than everyone else at the end of the straight. But how much time is he losing in the corners, and will he be able to make that up with that extra straight line speed? 116.392 at the end of Sector 2. And already laying on the throttle. Fuel is flashing. This is going to be his only attempt at a lap. He needs to hope that this is good enough. DRS is open, laying on the ERS at the line. It'll be a 140.468 for Herbago in the McLaren. An incredible lap. I don't think anyone's touching that. He is 1.9 seconds ahead for the next fastest person out there. Incredible. Here comes Snake in the Mercedes. And he is at 211 at the end of the straight, 142.006. But still, he is 1.6 seconds out from Herbago. There is nobody, absolutely nobody, touching the McLarens. Dave running very slow right now. Preparing to set up for a flyer here. Holy Boy also out on track. He is ahead of Herbago, calling on an outlap. Herbago on a cooldown because he's not going to have enough fuel to go for another flyer. Extreme F1 has just come out of the pits. He's going for another shot of it. So is Zola. And Zola is setting himself up behind his teammate Constant Jet. So he's hoping that Constant can give him an extra pull down the straightaways. Holly Boy in the middle of a flyer right now. Pops up in the DRS. At the end, 142.329 has been his best lap. Now he goes for another one. I see Herbago coming to the pits. He'll be there with Eggedy, and I imagine with less than 43 seconds left, they're going to retire because you're not going to have time to go all the way around. In fact, for a lot of these drivers, this is going to be their only attempt at a lap here. Zola is not as close to Constant Jet as he wants to be. But I think Zola is betting that he's going to have enough of a pace advantage against his teammate that he will naturally catch him near the end of Sector 2 and will still get a draft off of his teammate down the main straight here. Constant, the slowest of our 9 drivers right now. He's the only one still in the 144s at the moment. Here comes Extreme F1 to the line. 142.471. And this is Dave in the other Alfa Romeo. He's up by 1.5 seconds at the end of Sector 2. And Dave will set a time, 141.360. So he's gotten within a second, within 9/10 of Herbago. But his time is up. Snake is up. Herbago's time is up. Collie Boy will be the next driver to get to the line. He's up by half a second in Sector 1. How much is he up at the end of Sector 2? He's up by over a second, 1.3 seconds plus. So that would be enough to get him to 141 flat. So Collie Boy trying to get on the front row, but it just does not seem like anyone has what it takes to touch Herbago here. $210, $211 at the line. Collie Boy, 140.813. So he's within 4/10 of Herbago, but not able to get by him. Zola has actually gotten by Constant Jet this lap, so Zola may have actually been held up by overtaking his teammate. This might compromise his lap a bit. Coming down to it, pops up in the DRS lane on the ERS for the Red Bull. At the end of this lap, 211 miles an hour, Zola goes up to 4th, 141 point Satan. This is Extreme F1, here comes Flavor to the line. The lone Ferrari, he'll jump up to 5th, 141.946. This is Extreme F1. He's up by 1.4 seconds to the end of Sector 2, so this should put him up quite a ways. Yeah, Extreme F1 is in that AlphaTauri is going to jump up to 3rd. And there's your results. Herbago, Collie Boy, and Extreme F1 all in the 140s, but Herbago set that time a lot earlier than his rivals. I do think that Herbago has the fastest car when it comes to single lap pace in this race today. But look at that spread in time, though. The top 4 all within a second of each other in the end. But 2nd, 3rd, and 4th all made it up by being on the track as late as possible, and the track was rubbered in a bit after losing all of its rubber through the rain earlier. Zola is over a second off. Flavor is nearly a second and a half off. Snake is over a second and a half off. And then Eggy and Constant Jet, they're both 3.5 seconds or not more off of the times right now. So there's a big amount of spread in the top 9. All right, coming to the party right now is Herbago 91. Herbago, go ahead and clear your audio. Normally I would just say congratulations to the Discord server. But mate, you're 3/10 faster than everyone else in Q1. You're 3/10 faster than everyone else in Q2. You're 4/10 faster than everyone else in the final round of qualifying. And that was with a time on the track that wasn't properly rubbered in. How in the world did you do that? Yes, I hear you. I do hear you. All right, so the question I have now, we know this is a great one-lap car. Is this car good enough over the course of the race to survive? All right, one more question, and this is more in the rumor mill. Rumor is in the paddock that you guys in the McLaren camp have figured out a way to run a lot less wing and run a lot more mechanical grip. Is that true? And if so, are you willing to share how you did that? Alright, well, very well then. Well, we're going to be definitely keeping an eye on you at the start of this race. It's going to get really fun one way or another. Thanks for jumping in and talking with us. Hopefully if we talk to you again, it's at the end of the race. Alright, bye. Alright, and that's the word from your pole sitter, Herbago 91, an absolutely amazing flying lap out there. In all 3 sessions of qualifying, even in Q2 where the stakes were really high, you only had one chance to get a lap in, and that was it. Alright, so we have a few minutes until we're going to start up the race itself. So real quickly, we're going to go ahead and look over the championship standings as they are right now. First up, we're going to look at the Manufacturers Championship. At the bottom is Williams with 24 points. 9th is AlphaTauri with 28 points. 8th is Alfa Romeo with 36 points. 7th is Aston Martin with 39 points, which brings them into a tie with Mercedes for 6th. So they're both 39 points even. 5th is Alpine with 71 points. 4th is Red Bull with 7. 5th is Alpine with 71 points. 4th is Red Bull with 79 points. 3rd is Haas with 90 points. 2nd is McLaren with 97 points. And 1st is Ferrari. They have 118 points after what ended up becoming a double podium in last week's race at Monaco. Then we look at the Drivers' Championship. This is where things get a little bit more interesting. 18th is XRL Snake with 1 point. 17th is XRL Dave with 4 points. There is Constant Jet in 16th. He has 6 points thus far. There's a tie for 14th between Plastic Glove and Goldman Air 2361. They both have 8 points each. For 11th, there's a three-way tie as Mercedes AMG, Boothly 116, and Edgady 75 all have 10 points each. 10th is Ocean Lion. They have 16 points. 9th is CJ Hurricane. He has 21 points. 8th is Fratters. He has 24 points. 7th is Collie Boy with 32. 6th is XRL Flavor with 35 points. 5th is AK Herbie with 38. 4th is Mantic Meerkat with 43 points. The other McLaren, 3rd, is Herbago with 54 points. And I'm going to be honest, Herbago's trying to drag himself back into this title fight, to say the least. Now we get to our main 2 championship contenders. 2nd place is Zola with 73 points. 1st is XRL Schumacher. He has 83 points on the top of the day. So, word is that there's a possibility that your current championship leader may not be able to race next week. So he is going to probably do everything he can to try and get ahead of Zola, extend his championship lead, so that way after next week's race, he is still within title contention. Zola is anticipated to make every single race across the entire season. Schumacher needs to perform extremely well to just be ahead of Zola across the entire season. As we are preparing to get underway here, real big question, what tires are a lot of the field going to start on? The drivers who are eliminated in Q1 and Q2, they have extra set of softs that they can potentially use. Drivers who's ended in Q3, who made it to Q3, they're not going to have as many softs. And again, the medium to hard strat is typically the favored strategy at Azerbaijan. So there could be a lot of interesting things at play because we're normally guaranteed at least one full course safety car, if not multiple here. We'll have one warm-up lap, so everyone will go ahead and get a chance to warm up their tires a bit. And this is where it gets interesting as we look at the entire field. Everyone, with the exception of the Ferraris, are starting on medium tires. So Flavor and Schumacher both electing to start on the hard tires and go long on those. And this could end up being a very interesting strat, to say the least. They're the only 2 making this decision. Now for Flavor, this kind of puts him in a frustrating spot because he's going to be significantly slower than everyone else off the line. There's a high risk he's going to lose a lot of positions. The counterpoint, though, is that if Flavor does have any soft tires left, Flavor, who is known for being the best in the grid for conserving tires, might be able to go, instead of hard medium, he might be able to go hard soft on his strategy. If he does that, that could end up paying him some good dividends near the very end of the race. But he's going to be right there in the middle of the eye of the storm and likely a little bit slower than the other cars around him. He's going to have to be willing to either fight hard or be willing to give. He can't make any kind of half-assed choices with that. Schumacher, who's going to be starting the 14th position, things are a little bit more straightforward for him. He's going to be starting 14th. Mantic Meerkat and the McLaren, we know those McLarens are stupid fast. He's going to probably go ahead and let one, if not both of those cars behind him get by, scoot by. He'll be content to run behind the rest of the field and just use the fact that he's on hard tires to carry him a lot deeper into the race. The problem for Schumacher is that he's going to gain a lot of positions just due to the fact that he is on these hard tire compounds. However, when he does eventually make the switch to either mediums, or if things work out for him, make the switch to soft tires, it's going to really put the stress on him because he's going to have to make up a bunch of positions on track all by himself. He'll be on faster rubber, but this track, while it does have an offensive focus, is going to be very difficult to be really hard and flying near the end of this race. I think Schumacher is betting 1 on a lot of drivers farther up crashing out, and 2, he's betting on the field being relatively spread out so he's not caught in the eye of the storm as this event goes forward. The main drivers to watch, though, is going to be Herbago and Collie Boy on the front row. Herbago, we know he has a great car over a single flying lap. Collie Boy also has a good flying single lap car, but the Alfa Romeo does not seem to be nearly as trimmed out in the straights as Herbago. If Collie can get ahead of the McLaren may have a chance to try and get DRS and get back by. But if Collie Boy gets in front of Herbago right off the start, there is a very, very high possibility that we end up seeing Collie Boy staying ahead of Herbago, Herbago struggling in the aero wake and actually dropping through the field due to the aero wake making him significantly slower coming out of the corners, especially the higher speed ones in Sector 2. As we're preparing to get underway here, there's the lights. 4 lights, 5 lights. And it's lights out, away we go here at Azerbaijan, and it's a drag race down the straightaway. Herbago on the outside, here comes Extreme F1, and Extreme F1 splits the leaders. He's gonna go by both of them, and out of nowhere, the AlphaTauri of Extreme F1 jumps into the top of the grid. There's been a bunch of chaos in the back. Boostley's had an exit, Golminator's had an exit, Schumacher is already up into 12, Frathers is falling behind his teammate Zach. Zach has hit the wall potentially, and now the Haas's are fighting for position. Agony is in a drag race, Frathers gets a penalty for corner cutting and gain positions unfairly. Dave gets by Zola. Zola is gonna spear your championship points there, spears into the side of Collie Boy. Collie Boy has had an accident, and that is your championship second place, and it's caused a massive stack up as another Alpine and the McLaren and Magic Meerkat get involved as well. And now Collie Boy gets a penalty for a collision with Zola, and it is just chaos in the back of the grid. We stay green, everyone's gonna be able to keep going, but Extreme F1 had a perfect start, going for the second row to leapfrog not only Dave, but Herbago, and he is flying away with the lead of this race right now. Fratters trying to get by Agony has had an accident now. Agony is now falling down the grid. Well, that was not the start that I don't think anyone anticipated. Is the AlphaTauri of Extreme F1. He is 1.1 seconds up on Herbago already and trying to open the gap as much as he can. Boothie now gets by Egedy, so there is significant damage to this AlphaTauri here, it would appear, at the moment, as he falls behind Mantic Meerkat. Now, a lot of drivers going to be dealing with time penalties here early on. They're going to try and take them off once they come into the pit lane, obviously. And look at this, Herbago already closing the gap back down. He's 9/10 out from Extreme F1 going down the straight. But it seems like under braking, Extreme F1 actually opens the gap back up a bit. Plastic Glove's gonna get by Flavor. And Flavor's gonna get the pass back. No DRS right now, so that was pure driver skill by Flavor, juking Classic, who was faster down the straight, into missing his braking zone going into 1, and then getting back by him on the exit. Nice traditional crossover move. Now Plastic has actually fallen far enough off of the back of Flavor. He's not going to be able to make another attempt on in this lap. Great job on his part. Zola may have been the only driver with enough damage in that accident. They had to pit him and put on hard tire compounds. So this is not looking good for number 2 in the championship fight. He is now on the same strategy as Schumacher, but he is way behind him on track. Schumacher already back into the points paying position. Zola back there trapped in 16th. Look at this. Herbago has closed right in behind the lead AlphaTauri in the castle section. And we know this McLaren is faster in a straight line. We could see them side by side as they get to the start-finish line here. But right now, Herbago in the aero wake of the AlphaTauri is going to be struggling significantly with aero wake. And if we believe what rumors to be true, that the McLaren are running very trimmed out wings, there is a high possibility that he is burning up his tires even more than what we would normally see in this scenario. He's going to want to get by the AlphaTauri as absolutely fast as quick as possible. He's within a third of a second. He is coming real fast as we right out the back of the AlphaTauri leading. You can see him, and this is looking like he has DRS. He is so much faster in a straight line. He pulls alongside. He's already by, and that's no DRS. That's sheer driver ability. Extreme F1 pulls in behind, gets a bit of a drive. They're side by side. They touch wheels. Highway under braking. The AlphaTauri goes back into the lead now, but he's gonna miss the braking zone to spin. Herbago shoots back to the inside. They're gonna be side by side in turn 2. No, the McLaren backs out of it, but the AlphaTauri has a bad exit coming out of turn 2. Herbago now puts the power down. DRS now kicks in, and he's gonna use this to be in a drag race coming down to the line at the end of the second DRS zone. Herbago gets back ahead of Extreme F1. Oh no! Extreme F1's crashed, and Dave runs right to the back of him. Extreme F1 has had an accident, sector, but we stay green. We stay green at this point in the event. But our first DNF of the day is Extreme F1 with a fantastic jump off the start, fighting hard for the lead, and then loses it right after an accident. And this has worked out perfectly for Herbago. He now has a 6.5 second lead over second place Dave, who has a damaged front wing now. Oh, Boothy's had an accident as well, fighting with his teammate. Alright, and coming to the party right now is Extreme F1. Extreme, go ahead, include your audio. Mate, that was a massive, massive start that you got, but you're already out of it so early in the event. What happened there?
So it was quite unfortunate, really. Yeah, of course, like the start was pretty good to start with, because I was quite decent for once. But on the run down to turn 3, I think I got a little bit cocky with my turn-in. Turned it a little bit too early, and as with these walls, they're pretty much unforgiving. So I think after that, turned it a bit too early, and the tyre just went by, I guess. Unfortunate thing, but whatever. It is what it is. Just move on to the next one.
Alright, well, still, that start, how in the world did you time that start? Mate, you started third. You weren't even on the front row. Oh, and Fratters had an accident farther back in the field now. No, that's Zach F1. I'm sorry, that's Zach who's had an accident. And that's a yellow flag. But real quick, I just want to know, you started in the second row, and you had that amazing jump and went right up from third to first, coming out one. How in the world did you time that so perfectly?
I don't know, I guess it was just one of those really where you get into the right gear off the start and you get that perfect launch, I guess. But, yeah, as I said, things happen, we can't really help it. And yeah, we just move as things goes on, and hopefully the next one will be better.
Alright, well, I do want to say thank you very much for being willing to jump in and talk with us. It's a shame
Yeah, no
to see you out so early after you were putting on that amazing fight with Herbago. Hopefully it bounces back for you going into next week's race.
Yeah, hopefully so. And good luck to the rest of the guys.
Alright, so we bring our focus back to the racetrack here as virtual safety car comes to an end. Snake is running right behind Flavor, but while we were interviewing Extreme F1 there, we were riding on board Flavor, and Flavor made a 2-for-1 overtake going down the main straightaway. So one of the Ferraris is up there in the second position at this stage in the race. Snake running right behind him, trying to get this position back. I do think the Mercedes is going to have DRS advantage and will likely use this to get back by Flavor, but this has worked out very well for Flavor. He's not lost any positions from the initial start of the race. He's actually gained up into second spot. He is on the hard tires. He can go much longer on these tires, and he's about 6 seconds ahead of Fratters, who's in fourth position with a time penalty. When Flavor does eventually make his stop, more than likely... Oh, and there's been another incident with the Alpines, and that is that's Golminator this time. So both of the Alpines have just been having a series of incidents throughout this entire race. Zach F1's going to get by the McLaren of Meerkat. Snake is going to try, but not able to get by Flavor here. But as I was saying, the Ferrari of Flavor absolutely in a great position, did not lose any positions off the start. He's actually gained positions, and now Snake might be faster than him, but Snake is going to have to pit before Flavor. I think Flavor is setting himself up very much so for a good high-speed run to another podium here. Great job on his part. Snake, on the other hand, he is in another great position. He's been gained positions. He's up there in the third spot right now, and if he can get by the Ferrari relatively quickly, which he's going to try and do here, I think, then he can go ahead, get some clean air on those tires, and that's exactly what he's going to do. Flavor's going to go ahead and let Snake get by in the infield because he knows that Snake is faster. He doesn't want to have to deal with the Mercedes putting excess pressure on him. So now Snake is going to have clean air on his tires. He's going to go ahead and utilize this to try and stretch these mediums out as long as he can and hopefully make that work in his favor. And Plastic Glove has had an instant there coming into turn 2. He's back underway now, but it's not been easy. The two Red Bulls have found each other pretty much. Constant Jet is in 13th. Zola is 8.5 seconds out in 14th position. So Zola likely to make one more position up, but at this stage in the race, the Red Bulls out of the points altogether. Schumacher, who started 14th, has already moved up into 7th position, and he has nice clean air on his tires as well, so these hard tires will already go long. He has the potential to make them go even longer. Meerkat in the middle of this fight between the Haas's as Zach F1 and Fratters continue to spat for position. The McLarens, we know they're extremely fast down straightaway. Meerkat trying to bounce back from that Q1 qualifying accident. He's got a big head of steam on Fratters, but Fratters is going to have DRS off of his teammate Zach, and will use that as a defense against the McLaren. How much will it work? Fratter's defending the inside. Meerkat's going to go to the outside, and under heavy braking, the Haas just has the advantage of having that inside line through that corner. But now Fratters is falling out from Zach, so Fratters is just not keeping pace with his teammate down the straights. And now Meerkat has a chance to maybe go for a lunge into turn number 3. He looks for it. He denies the inside. The Haas turns in on him. They make contact. They're still side by side. Fratters gets the position back. He runs right into the back of him, and that is another Alpine that's just had a incident. Now, who is that? Is that Plastic's crashed out? Plastic has crashed out on the main straightaway. No yellow flag, so we stay green. And Fratters has had something go wrong, because now he's just not only lost position to Meerkat, he's lost it to Schumacher as well, and now he has to deal with Collie who is steaming up on him as well. There is something wrong with that Haas. I don't see wing damage, but there is something that has compromised him, because he is way off the pace now. It did work out for Zach, though, because Fratters held up Meerkat for so long that he is now 4 seconds off. Fratters into the outside wall there. Front wing is still mostly on the car, but he's going to probably have to bring it in for damage repair here. Constant Jet's lost his front wing. Constant Jet has lost his front wing altogether, and Zach F1 has crashed. Zach has crashed on the main straightaway, right in the middle of the main straightaway. And that is going to be a full course yellow, full course safety car as that Haas is stranded in the middle of the racing line, and Dave slams the inside wall to avoid it. He takes damage to avoid it. Oh no, Boothie! Oh no, Boothie! Boothie barely survives, but look at all this damage. We see multiple cars hit the wall trying to avoid him. This has gone absolutely horrible for so much of the field. So it was Zach F1 and not Fratters who ended up with a wreck that compromised him. But look at this. Everyone outside of the top 6 all pitting to get onto new tires. But the strategy on what they got on is very esoteric. Meerkat threw on soft tires. Collie threw on softs. Fratters threw on softs. So all these drivers, we know they're going to have to stop again. They're likely going to try and stop again if they're on mediums. Zola actually stayed out. He is now up into 9th. Dave threw on softs, Boothie threw on hard, so he's going to take these tires to the end of this race. Constant Jet now threw on softs, and Golminator is also throwing on softs in the Alpine camp. We're now under a full course yellow. You throw on hards now, and you're asking the hards to go 19 laps. I think that can be done, but it's definitely going to be risky. I think you need some yellow so that way you can save the tires a bit by just going a little slower through some of these corners. But, man, it's going to be really, really difficult. Herbago, though, your current race leader by 5.2 seconds. And they're going to pit him. So your race leader, Herbago, is going to pit. Snake, in second, is going to make the choice to pit as well. So this will promote Flavor up into the race lead. And Schumacher is going to come out of here with, I believe, second. Yeah, Schumacher is now going to be second on hard tires. But Herbago, who's going to be... Schumacher's going to be third on these tires. No, he's going to be second. Now, the Ferraris at the front, they have worn hard tires. They're still going to have to make another stop. They're going to want the race to go green for a long time so they all can get nice and spread out. But this has worked out respectably well for Schumacher and Flavor. While Zola, who is realistically on the same strat still, is still buried. He's in the points. He's 9th, but he's still buried right now. On track, Collie will end up ahead of Eggity because Collie made his stop already. So Eggity falls down to 7th. But yeah, everyone has made stops, and people are either going onto soft tires. I imagine they're going to go softs and then jump onto mediums later, or they're on hard tires that will likely carry them to the end. The only two drivers who have not made stops yet are the Ferraris of Flavor and Schumacher. Zola on the same strat, but he made a stop lap 1 to repair damage after he speared into the side of one of the Alfa Romeos. Zola really needs something fortunate to happen right now because he is on the same strat as the Ferraris, but the Ferraris have significantly better track position right now, running 1-2 at the moment. Fratters just got a penalty for crossing the pit lane exit. So that's not going to help. He is on the hard, so if he's not pitting again, he's not going to have a chance to serve that penalty, so that will be applied more than likely post-race for him. So now we wait for the field to gather up. I want to give big credit to Mantic Meerkat. Meerkat started near the very back of the field, but he is very confident with what that McLaren can do. And if Herbago's fight over the first 2 laps haven't shown it, Mantic Meerkat has 100% showcased that these McLarens and their special sauce setup is definitely comparable in racing conditions. He is up into 5th right now and has made most of those positions up by A, being smart, but also on-track overtakes over people who just haven't been comfortable enough. So both of the McLarens, I think, still are probably in the catbird seat for the overall win. The interesting thing is going to be Herbago. He's going to be restarting 3rd, and this will be the first restart we have in today's race. Herbago is going to be on fresher, hard tires than Flavor and Schumacher ahead of him. We know he's faster down the straightaways, but he's going to have to deal with 2 Ferraris, and those Ferraris are on alternate pit strategies. I don't know how hard they're going to fight to try and keep that McLaren behind, but if Herbago can get by them fast, he'll be in a good position. The counterpoint is that if he ends up spending a lot of time not being able to get by the Ferraris, he runs himself at risk of being overtaken by Snake and the Mercedes behind. Agony closes into the back of the grid, and Constant Jet is pitting again. I do not know what the strategy is here. They are putting on hard tires now. So he's going to drop near the back of the grid to 11th by the looks of it. Actually going to drop to 12th. 13th, I'm sorry. This does give Zola 1 extra position. He now moves up into 8th. Interesting strategy by Constant. And those are worn hard tires that they put on. So I'm not 100% sure what's going on in the Red Bull camp, but it has promoted Zola ahead of his teammate. And we should be going green this lap because Dave is very nearly caught the back, is very close to catching the back of the grid. Yeah, because Zola has already caught the rear of the field. Dave is only 8 seconds out, and he'll make up most of that time here. I hope we go green coming on to lap 10. Alright, maybe not. Here's Fratters. He's rushing to catch the rear of the field now. Yeah, we're not going to go green this lap, so we'll be going green on lap 11. So real quickly while we do this, let's go ahead and look at what everyone's fuel numbers are looking like at the moment. So Flavor, he is running in the positive. He's good on fuel. Schumacher is also good on fuel. Herbago has over a lap worth of fuel in that car. Snake has lots of extra fuel in the car as well. So does Meerkat. Collie Boy is up by nearly 2 laps. Agony is a lot closer. He's closer only about a 5th of a lap, but he is in the positive. Zola is good on fuel. Dave is good on fuel. Fratters is good on fuel. Boothie is good on fuel. Fulminator and Constant. So everyone's good on fuel to the end real quickly as we look at the DRS. Everyone should be fully charged up DRS-wise, and yes, that's exactly the case. Thus far, fastest lap of the day has been Herbago, unsurprisingly. 144, the only man in the 144s thus far. So Flavor leads, Schumacher second. Herbago, who has been the dominant force today on fresher hard tires, will be restarting third, and we should be going green coming on to lap 11. Will Flavor move aside to let his teammate get into the lead, or will Flavor hold the lead and let his teammate Schumacher fight to keep Herbago behind? Mantic Meerkat in 5th and Collie Boy 6th. They're on soft tires. We can anticipate them to be faster, but only for a few laps. Same with Galminator back there in 12th, but again, only for a few laps. And there's the word, safety car officially coming in this lap. Flavor controls the field. Right on board with the McLaren. Flavor is opening up the gap. Schumacher is laying back and kind of stacking the field up behind him. And they're going to go green, but look at this. Schumacher is laid back. He has given his teammate Flavor a 3-second advantage, and now he immediately starts closing. So everyone starts closing rapidly on Flavor, but Flavor already with a 1-second gap, and it's kind of held up the entire back of the field. Meerkat gets by Snake. Snake very nearly goes off circuit. And that's going to drop Snake behind Collie Boy and Meerkat. There's that Haas of Fratters as he's fighting with the Alfa Romeo of Dave. Herbago behind Schumacher. He looks to the inside, not going to be able to make the move there. 1-second advantage for Flavor at the front as Schumacher is keeping Herbago tucked up behind him. And now Herbago has to deal with his faster teammate Meerkat and Collie Boy, who is also on soft tires. And that Alfa Romeo is good all around the track, not just in the straights. There's Collie Boy looking to the inside of that McLaren of Meerkat. Will not commit to the move as the field now comes to the castle section. I wonder if there's something wrong with Schumacher because he is holding up that McLaren very badly. Herbago right there dealing with the entire aerodynamic wash of that Ferrari. But he's going to get a great grip, a great draft on him down the straight. We saw him overtake Extreme F1 down this straight earlier without DRS, and it looks like he's setting himself up to do the same thing again. Collie Boy has had an instant farther back. Right on board with Meerkat as he watches his teammate go after Schumacher. And Fratters has crashed out! Fratters has crashed in the middle of the straightaway, and he's not the only one! Dave has had an accident as well. Herbago makes his dive on Schumacher and will easily overtake him. He's going to drag his teammate Meerkat by as well. So Schumacher falls from 2nd to 4th, but now the McLarens are fighting with each other, and Meerkat decides to pull out behind, and we are back under the yellow flag. Fratters crashing out on the main straight, and we are back under the yellow. And this yellow is not working well in favor for either of the Ferrari team. They want the field to go green long enough so they can pit. All right, coming to the party now is Fratters. Fratters, go ahead and include your audio. Accident on the front straightaway there. What happened? Yeah, sadly we do. Alright, well, it's a shame to see you taken out like this. Do you think you'll be able to rebound next week when we go to Silverstone? I believe it's Silverstone. It's either Silverstone or Montreal next week, so... I actually did not see that, so yeah, I didn't catch that at all. How did that happen? Alright. Well, I do want to say thanks for being willing to jump in and talk about it. And I did see those penalty points get added to you, but I didn't see, or really, I didn't get to see what caused it. So I just kind of mentioned it on stream and then kind of went about my day. So yeah, shame to see that happen. But at least you don't have to worry about that time penalty now because you're not running any longer. Hopefully it doesn't end up like this next week. Esports ready. Alright, well. I don't mind. The XR officials normally have a little bit more issue. Yeah. The officials normally have a little bit more issue with language. I have no problem with language. And if we were broadcasting on my own personal channel, I always have said it to say, hey, it's for mature audiences because I swear like a sailor under normal circumstances. So, alright. Alright. Well, I do want to say thank you for jumping in and talking with us. It's a shame to see you squeezed out like this, but hopefully next week goes better for you. It's been fun for sure watching the McLarens go at it, so thank you. Alright, so as we turn our focus back to the track, and Gulminator has had an accident under the safety car. What in the devil? Gulminator has had an accident under the safety car. Okay. Going into turn 1, missed the braking zone. So yeah, now Gulminator is going to have to pit coming to the green flag. coming in the party now is Boothy. I hope I wasn't muted for a long time. Boothy, go ahead and include your audio. What happened that took you out there in run up to Castle? Well, sadly, and Collie Boy now has a drive-through penalty for speeding under the safety car, so that's going to take a top 3 away from him. Well, Boothy, the question is, do you think he'll be able to rebound next week? Alright, well, I do want to say thanks for being willing to jump in and talk with us. It's a shame to see you knocked out like this, mate, but you made it a lot longer than I think you were expecting, and you should be a little bit proud for that at least. Alright, so we turn our focus back. Schumacher now going to walk out of here with a net 3rd position. The leaders are Mantic, Meerkat, and Herbago. Meerkat on hard tires, Herbago on very worn hard tires. Schumacher in 4th is going to be faster, but the McLarens have a massive straight line speed advantage that no one has really been able to match all day today. Even without DRS, the McLarens are able to overtake on the straight, and Mantic is pitting out of the lead, and Herbago is pitting out of the lead as well. Collie is staying out, but Collie has to serve a drive-through penalty. So Schumacher is now going to, well, he's too far back. Schumacher is not going to be in the net lead. Meerkat is going to be here in 2nd, and Herbago is going to be 3rd. Yeah, so Schumacher is pretty much locked into 3rd position because I don't think that Ferrari has anything that he can do to go against these superior McLarens around here. Yeah, he's going to be behind both Meerkat and Herbago. And Collie Boy, who is your leader, has a drive-through penalty he is required to serve. Zola in 5th may have an advantage over Schumacher. He pitted onto the softs a lap later, so his tires are a little bit fresher than Schumacher's, and he's going to be right behind his championship rival. Flavor is in 6th. He can try to hound Zola, and Constant Jet is in 7th, and he can try to keep Flavor from going after his teammate. Golminator is the only Alpine to have survived this far. He is 8th. Eggity is 9th, and on soft tires, he might be able to get by Golminator early on. Dave is 10th on the mediums. As we're waiting for the entire field to properly gather up. It's been a very weird race, to say the least. Constant Jet and Golminator now catching the back of the field. Eggity still the better part, 15.5 seconds out. So right now, we're not likely to go green until lap 24. And if that's the case, then DRS will not kick in until the last lap and will only be available on that really short straight, except for, you know, the run down to the start-finish line. So yeah, DRS is only going to be a factor on the final lap and not going to be at its fullest ability. And again, Collie Boy having to serve a drive-through penalty, he's going to drop way back in the field. And he's pitting now. So Meerkat's now going to restart. And now Collie Boy has a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. But they're going to go ahead and throw on medium tires and repair front wing damage. So for the Alfa Romeo camp, all their hopes of having a good run seem to be gone, because Collie Boy is still going to have to serve a drive-through penalty, and he is now on worn mediums. He's going to end up dead last behind his teammate Dave. Yeah, Collie is basically locked in to dead last, assuming that no one else crashes on this restart. He'll still walk out of here with points, but still. All right, but at the front, Meerkat will have clean air. Herbago dominated the early part of this race, although it's been Flavor who has led the most laps today. And Herbago has been faster. They're now even on tires. How much fighting will we see between the McLarens? And this is going to be where it gets really interesting, because Herbago is been fastest and Meerkat have been the fastest down the straights. Now they're going to be way faster than everyone else, especially when they come to start the next to last lap. Herbago's going to be right behind Meerkat, gaining the draft. We could be seeing speeds. I get excited thinking about it. We could see speeds of 220 miles an hour if Herbago times everything out right going down the main straight. This could be really exciting just between the McLarens. So the fights to watch. Inter-team rivalry potentially between McLaren for the race win. Schumacher in third needs to keep Zola behind so he can add to his points lead. Zola needs to try and go by Schumacher, and Zola is on slightly fresher tires, but he's not had pace today. Flavor in fifth is going to try and hound Zola and keep Zola from making a move on his teammate. Constant Jet is going to do the same and try to keep Flavor from hounding Zola. Gulminator is on hards, and he needs to hold off Eggity. Dave has just gotten by Collie Boy because Collie Boy has blown the corner there. That's weird. So I'm guessing Collie Boy is not even going to try and hold up his teammate. We're coming to the green flag. How does Mantic Meerkat hold up the field? How does Herbago respond to his teammate? That's the question. As we're preparing to go green flag, the pace car is gapping the field and preparing to come. We're at a respectable speed. When do they go green? They're green! They're off! And Herbago got a much better run than Meerkat! He's looking to the inside! How will he defend? His teammate's gonna hold the spot! Flavor gets passed by Constant Jet! And Flavor is gonna get run off the circuit! He's not in factor! Gulminator gets spun on the start! So now Zola behind Schumacher. Dave still keeping Constant Jet behind. And now the Red Bull spins and Flavor is back by. Zola trying to close in on Schumacher but can't do anything with it. Herbago is behind his teammate Meerkat and he's not able to get by him yet either. Constant Jet fell all the way to 9th position in that headache. Zola trying to do something to Schumacher, but he just seems to be losing pace. Zola just does not seem to have any pace today. Flavor trying to get by Dave. Dave holds the inside line here under braking. And Flavor is not confident enough to go for a crossover. Herbago within half a second, within 6/10, somewhere around there. Schumacher, the big slide behind. He is losing touch with the leaders. How will Herbago try? Oh, and Dave has gotten passed by Flavor. And Eggity has had an instant coming out of Castle. Eggity's been disqualified. That's bullcrap, but okay, I believe it. This game's just stupid enough to do that. All right, here's the speed. What speeds are we looking at down the straight? Herbago burning through his ERS to close on his rival. He's at the 210 mark, but can't seem to get above that right now. Meerkat set the fastest lap that lap, actually. And no DRS until the final lap. So this is another lap where Herbago just needs to stay within DRS range of Meerkat, and it's gonna be close. At the way it's looking, I think Herbago, if he can keep this gap, will be right alongside Meerkat, either coming to the white or coming to the checkers. There doesn't seem to be anywhere else where Herbago is stronger than Meerkat, and Herbago is only stronger than Meerkat because he has draft down the main straight. But if he loses time and falls out of DRS range, he's not gonna get it. Constant Jet has just had another accident. The entire front wing's gone. Flavor trying to barrel down on Zola as Zola has totally lost the plot. Schumacher has lost the leaders as well. It is McLaren versus McLaren at the front. Meerkat trying to take a near last to first challenge. Herbago trying to walk out of here with maximum points and potentially vault himself back into championship contention. There will not be DRS this straightaway, but Herbago is staying close enough that he might try to get by his teammate on just drafting and ERS alone. Meerkat has almost no ERS left. Herbago has plenty of it. This is it. He's got the run. He's laying on the ERS. Meerkat inside. Herbago outside. 213-mile-an-hour pass. And Herbago takes the lead, but look at this big dive from his teammate, and he's gonna squeeze him wide, and they're side by side still! The fight is not over yet. How aggressively does Meerkat hold the position? Meerkat's gonna get him back by Herbago. Is he gonna have DRS? No, this was well timed. Meerkat has DRS defense against his teammate, but they're drag racing and slamming each other. And if they keep fighting like this, it will bring Schumacher into the fray. Meerkat barely holds the lead over Herbago. We know Herbago is faster. But Herbago is now out of ERS just like his teammate Meerkat. DRS is all Herbago is going to have. That and potentially making the corners better. Meerkat trying to back Herbago up into Schumacher. Schumacher hoping that these two take each other out in a way that let him sneak by. Oh, and he's made a mistake going into Castle. Side by side, who's going to back out? Who's going to back out? It's going to be Herbago who backs out. Herbago is faster, but Meerkat is running the most difficult defense of his life right now. It is the last lap. It is the last 2 sectors, and Herbago has a twitch, and he's into the wall, and Schumacher goes up into second. Schumacher now needs to try and close on Meerkat. Herbago has had an accident. Oh, and Zola is going to be held up by the McLaren now. And now here comes Flavor as well. Schumacher not in contention. Meerkat is going to go from an accident to a victory here at Baku for third. The fight is on. Herbago trying to rely on the DRS, but he doesn't have a front wing. Can he bring it home the podium without a front wing? Zola is closing as Meerkat wins. Schumacher comes home second. Herbago will bring it home third. Zola will bring it home fourth. Flavor will come home fifth. And Dave will come home in the 6th position. Golminator, despite accidents, will come home in 7th. Collie Boy will end up in 8th. Constant Jet, 9th. That was a finish, to say the least. That was crazy. And this will be a great day from the points for McLaren. Still coming home first and third. Could have been 1-2, but they'll still come home first and third. And for Schumacher, this is great because he'll finish second while Zola comes home fourth. Trying to get the top 3 podium finishers into the party here.
What the fuck happened there?
All right, and coming into the party is our podium finishers. First, we want to talk with our race winner, Mantic Meerkat. Meerkat, an accident in Q1. You didn't even make it out of the first round of qualifying. But the McLaren secret sauce not only brings you back into the points, you walk out of here with a fantastic win at Azerbaijan. Include your audio. What do you have to say about that? Mate, that final, I just want to say, as you guys were taking the white flag, your teammate was ahead of you at the start-finish line. But you sent it with the deepest braking, and with how little downforce that you McLaren seem to have, you sent it on him at 215 miles an hour, late braking to squeeze him wide and hold on to the lead. I'm in awe on that. How in the world did you make that stick? I can't believe that. Well, the game says you're driver of the day, and I have to agree because not only did you come from the back of the field to win, you pulled off some incredible moves against your teammate today. Fantastic job. So now the question is, can you replicate this going forward next week? All right, well, hopefully things work out well for you, and enjoy whatever you're going to be doing next week. You should really bask in this win, mate. This is iconic. Like, this is like top drives of the season kind of iconic. All right, now I want to go ahead and talk with our third place finisher, Herbago. Herbago, fastest man by 3/10 in Q1, Q2, 4/10 in Q3. You got jumped on the initial start, but persevered, led pretty much most of the first third of this race, but in the end, the walls nicked out, hit you at the very end, and you only come home third. Walk us through the race from your perspective, mate. All right, well, either way, mate, it was a fantastic drive from you. It's just a shame that it ended up with only a third instead of, McLaren coming across the line 1-2. All right. All right, now I want to go ahead and talk about our second place finisher, Schumacher. Schumacher, story of yours is similar to that of Mantic Meerkats. Not a win, but you walk out here second, and you're ahead of your championship rival, Zola, in the end, extending your points lead. Walk us through the race from your perspective. All right. All right, so you're going to extend your points lead just a little bit. As far as we know right now, you're not racing next week, so it's likely that Zola is going to try and close the points gap. But you are racing next week. Oh, okay. So, do you think that this has kind of been a turn in your favor in the championship fight from a good run in the podium last week and now another podium now? Do you think you now have the uphand advantage in the title fight going forward? All right, well, I do want to say thanks for jumping in and talking with us, mate. Great recovery drive for you, and we look forward to seeing you. Oh, okay. Well, congratulations. Go ahead and let's go back through it real quickly one more time then. Make it short. So obviously bad qualifying, but you recovered from nearly dead last up into the second place finish.
Yeah.
Overall, what do you have to say? Make it quick this time.
Qualifying, not going to talk about it because it's rubbish. Go through the race. Didn't have the pace on them boys. They had super low rear wings. So, yeah. And then going into the last few laps, just watching them two battle is like two kids trying to take a sweetie off each other. Back and forwards, back and forwards. not good driving. So I'm just going to leave it there and let the stewards talk about it. But thanks for getting me into the con booth for chatting with you.
All right. And I do we'll go ahead and probably end up talking with you again later on in the season.
Yeah.
But great job, mate. A continued
man.
string of podiums. Hopefully this continues working out for you going forward. Anyways, I've been your host for today's race, Insane Leader 13. In about an hour's time, I believe it will be Extra Zola who will be helping with the broadcast for the X2 race here at Azerbaijan. Until next time, though, I want to say thank you very much for watching, and goodbye.